This other one is really interesting if you catch her ownership of this movie in this clip.
But it's supposed to be Alyssa.
It's Alyssa.
Yeah, it's with an A. Okay. Whew.
Good to know. Now we know. It's cleared
I
up.
thought I was gonna have to
So
CGI her name too.
I mean, again, this is so like minuscule, but she says that she thought she was going to have to CGI the sister's name from Alyssa to Elisa or whatever the audiobook is saying. So that was a tell. That was like, okay. Seeing all of these adding up, especially these moments where it slips and she's not really thinking too much about what she's about to say. She's just, it slips out. I don't know. I think it's telling and it's interesting to see. So then there's this other.
Yeah, so we wanted something that would appeal to seniors.
Okay, this is about the aging up of the characters. And this is Colleen's response. Keep in mind her email to Justin when he was asking her, hey, can I buy the rights to your book? Keep that in mind as you're watching this. Keep that in mind.
Citizens, so we chose Blake.
Oh no.
No, honestly, the director was really passionate about playing Ryle in the movie. And so when, you have someone who's older, who's the lead, of course, we're going to also age up. We didn't want a, 23-year-old lead actress.
I actually, in the meantime, I did go to page 13 in the lawsuit where she says April 12th, 2019, 9:52 a.m. Not that it makes a difference the time right now. Have you given any thought to whether you would want an acting role in this? Say maybe Ryle. I could see it. Now when Colleen's talking about him, her face is like quite serious. Her body language changes. She's like kind of shifting a little bit with her legs, but she's very serious. And watch, because you know that guy who I love him. I forget the name, but who analyzes body language but he's like doing it correctly, not like, oh, you can tell this and you can tell that made up stuff. She starts blinking really fast, and that's not a normal fast blink for Blake. And this could go either way. This could go for either camp. Something is there though. That's all I have to say about that. Something is there.
Blake, which scene was the hardest to film or experience while filming, or any scene that stayed with you? This is from Maria.
The couch? That sounds so daunting.
I was actually on set that day.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
It was actually interesting because our director also plays my other love interest. And so I think when we were in scenes together, he was like, whoa, you seem like you're in love with him. I'm like, yeah, it's Atlas. Like, yeah. He's like, but you seem like you're in love with him, but you love Ryle. And I was like, no, I also love Ryle, but like I really love Atlas. He's like, but you love Ryle. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what's happening? But you love Ryle. And I'm like, no, I do. But like she's conflicted. Totally. And so that was always an interesting dynamic when you have somebody who's playing the character also being the one like looking at the movie. So we were always like, are we too connected? Are we too vibing?
Yeah.
So this one, she's basically trying to paint him as unprofessional in this very subtle way of making him seem jealous, right? Or she, as her character or whatever, is into this other actor. Our director, again, she's acted with this guy, with Justin, for so many months. She's collaborated. She's had him in her penthouse. They've worked late hours. She's had her children, with him. She has texted, voice noted, all this stuff. So for her to say our director using that kind of distancing language is huge. And in this space, especially in this little moment, in this way that she answers it, and then trying to paint him as jealous of her and Brendan Sklenar. Oh my gosh, she was so in love with her.
I beg him to do lines from the movie so I can like film the lines and send them to my friends who love it. He does this one line that is mine and Colleen's favorite.
Atlas walks up to the table and is just, making shit.
This is not from the book. This is just like Brandon being Brandon.
Completely ad-libbed.
What did you like? And then he looks at me and goes, what about you? What do you like? It's crazy.
With his deep voice.
So I have all these straight men who every time he does it, they scream. And then they're like, they always say to me, "What about you? What do you like?"
There's a lot on that one. Doesn't it seem quite uncomfortable that I don't know if objectifying Brendan is the word. It's interesting to me how different it is when Brandon ad libs, improvises, and it can be very intrusive. Of course, it's not physical, like on her skin or whatever, although that could have been it. We don't know because she didn't say one way or another with him. But it's interesting when it's someone that you like, that's okay. When it's someone you don't like, that's not okay.
The
Well,
best version it could be.
And that's all thanks to Blake. Like, you've been so collaborative. Like, I just can't even explain to you what the last few weeks have meant to me.
What has happened up to these past weeks? This happened on June 2nd, 2024. This was the video was June 14th. On June 2nd, once again, Wayfarer found itself with no choice but to allow Lively to continue her edit effectively, sidelined to sharing notes with Lively and her editor without any assurance that those notes would ever be considered, blah, blah, blah. Blake was editing. And we know from a different interview, she says that Colleen was very much present in the editing bay with her and in that process. And this is what they were alluding to. And they were complimenting each other on how great they were and how great they collaborated.
Most exciting part, honestly, just like bringing this movie to life, because it was such a emotionally rewarding film, and I just like, I'm so proud of it, and to do that in a movie people actually see. Like, if you get like a great female character, it's usually like a movie no one's ever going to see, and then if it's a movie people are going to see, you're just like supposed to stand there and look cute and like be the accessory to the man.
Let's talk about strong female, complex female characters. Because apparently, according to her, they don't exist. All I See Is You is the movie that she promoted, where she talks exactly about the same thing. The first one that popped into my mind was Angelina Jolie in Maleficent. Maleficent? Magnificent? I think that's a very complex female character and a strong, great female character. Okay, Daisy Ridley, Rey in Star Wars. Letitia Wright Shuri in Black Panther, Lupita Nyong'o as Patsy. Well, as Patsy in 12 Years a Slave, she was also in Black Panther. But I remember, like in 12 Years a Slave, that was a pretty huge movie. Did she win the Oscar for that? And that's a definitely a complex, great female character. Charlize Theron had a bunch in the Black Widow movie. Scarlett Johansson, Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once, Evelyn Wang, Zoe Saldana as Neytiri in Avatar, Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss Everdeen in that trilogy. What is it? Hunger Games, Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow, Quiet Place, Girl on the Train, Rosamund Parks as Amy Dune or Dunn in Gone Girl, Margot Robbie as Birds of Prey and the Squad movie, and I, Tanya, and even the big one, Barbie. Barbie was a very complex, strong female character. And an after edition, Jennifer Lopez. Mike Chat was saying in the movie Enough, in the movie Hustlers, in so many of her movies.
Honestly, I think it was the first time I didn't feel scared, and I don't know why. Maybe because I just had a kid like 3 months before, and I was like, "Oh God, what am I doing?"
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on that one. Okay, I'll start with the scared part. Maybe she's not scared because she took over the whole movie.
He's so
Brandon.
safe, and I think what's so important about Atlas is that, like, what Brandon really brought to Atlas is that, like, he's so like patient and supportive of Lily, and it's like, what we think of as like feminism or whatever. He's not out there like, wearing like, a, can we say this word? The hat, the pea hat. But anyway, he's like, that's not what being a feminist is. It's like, making sure that like he's there and supports her and her journey, and he doesn't remove agency from her. Like, he's just like strong and sturdy, and like the love that he gets her, that he's like a mirror to her. He's like, this is who you are. Like, he reminds her of who she is. He reminds her of her value and that she's got this. And like, he's just like, what he brings to this character is so beautiful. He's such an incredible actor.
How about how Justin does this every single day when he's on his podcast, when he's speaking about women, about the women in his life, about his wife, and the conversations and interviews him and his wife have together, talking so many times about these things. How he's showing up that way in action in life, period. But like, what about the real men? And I'm not saying Brendan isn't. He might be. I don't think Justin ever wore one of those. But the way that she talked about feminism, by now they already had done the nice pool thing and everything. Oh gosh.
We've got score in the movie, and we showed it to like a small audience, and I was like, oh, they'll never know. Like you do like temporary score until like the movie's complete. And I was like, oh, put Finding Nemo like it's like a wink Easter egg. Nobody will know what it is. The first person raised their hand. They're like, why do you have the Finding Nemo score in this movie? It's like, how on earth are you guys that keen?
They had already a score with an orchestra that they threw out. Why didn't she use that? I mean, that sounds just like incredibly petty. It sounds like nonsensical just to like gain control and just have her mark, even for a screening with her close friends or whoever she screened it to.